Welcome to the Bella Vista Gardening program. I'm Jerry Horner, and joining me today is Alycyn Culbertson.
Morning, Jerry.
And she is a fellow Benton County Master Gardener and also a fellow member of the Bella Vista Garden Club. And this month we're going to be talking about gardening happenings in Northwest Arkansas. And there's a lot going on.
There's a lot getting ready to happen.
Yes. And then we'll also be talking about things we need to do in our garden in April. It's a busy, busy season now. We've kind of rested for a few months. Now we're into full throttle.
Full gardening mode.
Yeah. So things have really been starting to pick up this month. I'm going to start planting, and it's been such an unusual spring.
It's been a lot of warm days in February.
Days.
Yep, and
so
March.
Much warmer than I've ever seen. Everything is about 3 weeks early than it usually is. But, you know, I'm still worried that between now and May 1st, we could have some freezing weather.
It's
so
a little unpredictable.
We don't know what's going to happen. We just don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, the main thing we're talking about today is plant sales. They're going to be happening all over. And the Benton County Master Gardener meeting is April 4th at the Church of Christ in Bentonville,
right,
in their lodge. And it's at 6 o'clock. And Lisa Morrison from the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks is going to put on a program, and it's called Incorporating Native Plants in the Home Landscape. And so this year we're inviting the public. We always have invited the public to the Master Gardener programs that are so interesting because we want to, you know, share our knowledge. And we want to share that gardening information. So we're going to be inviting the public to these programs.
I'm excited about her presentation on native plants.
Yes.
I have a lot of interest in that myself, too.
Well, we're really pushing native plants. I mean, that's, you know, if you can put in native plants in your garden, it's so much better because they're more adaptable to our area.
Sure.
I don't know if anything can adapt to this year, but who knows. But there's plant sales going on in April, and you have to mark your calendar. And Nature's Calling at Village Wastewater is right off of Highway 71, just south of the Missouri line.
Right.
And they're having their plant sales Saturdays on April 22nd and 29th. And then that's from 8 to 12.
Right.
And they will have tomatoes, peppers, hostas, coleus. What else did you see?
They have so many things out there ready to go.
Right. And shrubs.
Yeah, she'll have shrubs and the hostas, you said, and the a lot of different perennials she's got going.
Right. She starts a lot of things in her
With
greenhouse.
a lot of vegetables. So I've been out there several times, and her plants just look marvelous.
Oh, they are. They're great. So they'll sell their plants like starting April 17th. From Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. So you just drive in the back by the office and they'll tell you where the plants are. So, and the Garden Club of Rogers, or the Rogers Garden Club. No, it's Garden Club of Rogers. They have a little different name.
Right.
They have a plant sale and a bake sale every year. And it's going to be on Saturday, April 22nd from 8 to 1. And it's going to be a new location. They always hold it at a member's house, and unfortunately, Keita Arnold had it at her house for many years, and she has passed away. And we miss Keita.
Right.
But they're having it at 1902 North Dixieland Road in Rogers, and they have it rain or shine. And they have some wonderful plants too out of their gardens. So I've always gotten good plants there.
Right.
In Compton Gardens, they're going to hold their native tree and plant sale on Saturday, April 29th. And that's at 312 North Main Street in Bentonville. So they also have other things going on.
They do. They have Dawn Denton that's going to be...
she's a master gardener in Benton County.
She's talking about her book out there. Isn't she doing a demonstration?
I think she's reading her books. She has children's garden books. They're just darling.
And, of course, Compton Gardens is all native plants.
Right.
They'll have the flowers, the perennials, and then they'll also have
trees.
Shrubs and trees out there. They've got some beautiful things there.
They're usually priced at like $5 for perennials and $10 for trees.
Yep.
So
they are pretty consistent.
Yeah. But, and they also have children's art activities this year and a state line wood turning demonstration.
Oh,
I love wood turning. That's really interesting.
That should be
I love
fun.
to watch that. So that's what they're going to have at Compton Gardens. And I've gotten quite a few plants from them too. They have wonderful plants that they've pulled from their garden. So
Right. The only thing I don't like, Jerry, is this year the Compton Gardens sale is the same day as the Master Gardener Expo. It's hard to be in two places at once.
And it's all the same times basically, but they're close together. And if you go down to Bentonville,
Right.
like I said, Compton Gardens is at 312 North Main, and the Benton County Master Gardener Lawn and Garden Expo is going to be held on Saturday the 29th from 8 to 1, and that's near the square. And we have a little flyer here to show you. Look for that flyer to be out around. And it's at the First United Methodist Church, right a block off the square.
Right. This usually coincides with the opening of the farmers market
Right.
on the square, so it's a great time for folks to come to our expo and also hit some of the stands at the farmers market there that
and start
Saturday.
buying vegetables and things there.
Right.
And they're going to have, they have so much at the expo. It's more than a plant sale.
You know, Master Gardeners, one thing that we put a lot of emphasis on is training and educating, teaching people.
Right.
So the expo is so much more than a plant sale, but we do have some fabulous plants we'll have there too.
And we have native plants there too.
Right.
A lot of it.
They'll have demonstrations. What do we have? I think we have organic gardening and
we have tool sharpening.
tool
We
sharpening.
have beekeeping.
hay bales. Doing something gardening with hay
I
bales?
don't know, pest identification.
Okay.
I know we have raising chickens
Right.
and organic gardening.
Right. A lot of different things to.
So there's a lot of demonstrations. I don't think they're having any seminars this year or speakers.
I don't think so.
It's just going to be out there in that open area, and there'll be a lot of information. And a lot of information about the Master Gardeners. So we had some pictures of the past years of, last year.
Oh, here we go.
Of the Benton County Master
This
Gardener.
shows a lot of the plants, a lot of
Right,
fabulous
plants.
plants we'll have there.
Right. And
Rain-
again, it's rain or shine.
Yep.
You know,
we got a
don't-
little rain last year, didn't
yeah,
we?
we did. And it's just so much information. Then we also have that little, like a lawn,
All things garden.
all things garden.
Right. Used used gardening tools and things. And look, we have these beautiful containers.
They do a lot of container gardenings. They find real unusual containers, and then they fill them with perennials or annuals. And you can buy your little mini garden right there, and they have some really unusual containers.
Yes.
They do come up with some great things. So it's going to be rain or shine. And like I said, they're just so close to Compton. You can do both of those sales in one day.
Oh, absolutely.
Without any problem.
Absolutely. And a big part of the expo, in addition to the education and the plants, is they have the thing, what they call all things garden. They'll have tillers and hoes and rakes and shovels and anything that you can imagine that you might need to use in your garden. They'll have that.
You know,
also.
and they may be used, but they're not, abused
Right.
usually. They're still usable, and so they have some great things like that. And so the next sale after that is the Bella Vista Garden Club sale. Now this is near and dear to my heart, so I've been involved with it over 20 years. And in the past, before I became a member, I understood they bought plants from a nursery wholesale and sold them retail, and that's how they made money. And it was like a very low margin, and it wasn't as successful as it is now. So now we've decided we've got so many plants to share from our gardens, and we've been digging and potting plants for 20 years and sharing them with the community.
It's quite an undertaking, Jerry.
It is.
To go and see the beautiful gardens that our garden club members have, and then to be invited into their garden to help them maybe thin out some plants, dig up some where they're getting too crowded or something like that. So we've been doing that for several weeks already.
Right.
We expect to have over 2,000 plants at this year's Bella Vista Garden Club plant sale.
And from last year. We have a big crowd.
Oh, look, yep, we did.
I think there's the mayor. He usually comes to our plant sale. And we just have a lot of different plants, and I think we'll have a list of all the plants available.
Absolutely.
On the website.
Yes, if you want to go to the website, then we'll have a very thorough listing of the
Right.
plants that we're
But
going to
we have
have
a lot of plants
at the sale.
and they're just-
We have hundreds and hundreds of iris and hundreds and hundreds of lilies, daylilies. Oh, we
Right.
have so many plants this year. It's going to be
Right.
fantastic.
Well, our club is growing and our gardens are growing. I never dreamt that I would be able to share so much of my garden, you know, when I started the club. And I thought,
Right.
we'd go to these gardens and pull these plants, and I'd say, well, I'll never have a garden like this where I can share. But it's amazing. After, you know, 20 years, you get a lot of plants that you can share, and they, you know, they grow here.
Right.
They survive here through all the terrible, you know, weather we have,
Right.
which sometimes can be awful. And sometimes our plant sale is real interesting. Sometimes it's a tornado that blows the pots off of the tables, and sometimes we're in earmuffs and gloves and coats. It's always the first Saturday of May. And a couple years ago, we had to postpone it because it snowed. We had like 1 or 2 inches of snow.
We were in our winter coats last week with gloves putting plants in
Right.
pots, so
and
yes.
So it's, the weather here is very fickle, and you never know what the weather's going to be like.
Right.
Also at our plant sale, we'll have the, what we call the Garden Boutique, which is our ways and means. They're going to have different gardening items, pots, and, you know,
We'll have
things.
some experienced garden tools
Right,
there also.
right.
And they sell those marvelous gloves. I love
Oh.
the gardening gloves that our garden club sells.
Oh,
so
they are great.
Those are nice.
They are very
Absolutely.
good. They're very good. You can't garden without them almost. They're just wonderful. The main thing, the other thing they'll have is I think we're having wheelbarrows and carts. Somehow we got a hold of some very lightly used wheelbarrows.
Right.
And from a landscaper or something, I don't know, but they're going to be very nice.
Right.
So if you need anything like that, just come on over. And we're going to be there we're going to be at the Village Wastewater, and that's right off Highway 71. When you come down from the state line, it's that right turn right after the big Bella Vista sign.
Right, and the animal shelter's there.
Well, the
and
animal
then there's
shelter's
the sign, and then
at the stoplight, and
Right,
then you go
okay.
past the stoplight down to the next turn. And there's a sign there that says Village Wastewater, and it says Northwest Arkansas Garden
Right,
Co-op.
we'll have big signs out on the highway that
right.
day.
And flags probably.
Right.
You have flags flying, and you know, we'll get you in there. And I think we're going to be using some part of the greenhouse. Some of the plants will be in the greenhouse. And then when you've got tables set up everywhere this year, right?
We do.
Instead of being on the ground.
We're hoping. We're acquiring. We've been on Craigslist. We've been running around to estate sales, gathering up some tables so that we can get the plants up off the ground. It makes it a little easier for us, but for
And
the
for
buyers,
to
right,
see
for the
the plants,
customers.
yeah.
So, and we've had access to a greenhouse space this year, which we really haven't had before. So
That's
it's
great.
working out so nice.
yeah.
The plants are just, I can't even imagine how they're going to look in another month.
Well, the wastewater has been such a boon they've been wonderful for us. In the past, we would have the sales at Tanyard Creek, and we'd pot up all these plants, and then at the end of the sale, we didn't have any place to put them.
Right.
And it would just break our heart. You know, we would just almost have to just toss them into the woods and save the pots because we could never find any pots. We had to beg for pots. And, you know, it just broke our heart to go through all that work, and then we'd have to just toss the plants because we didn't sell them. Now we can, you know, keep the plants at wastewater and tend them over, and then they sell them for us, and they help us in so many ways.
They
They're
do.
just wonderful.
They do.
And our sale again is from 8 to 1 on May 6th,
Right.
first Saturday of May. And like I said, this has been going on for 20 years, so we've got the same customers coming back year after. I see them year after year.
They kind of look
coming
forward
back.
to it.
They do.
They watch
They
for
really
it, I
do.
think.
They line up, you know, before 8 o'clock waiting to get in and kind of see what's around there, you know,
Right.
kind of scope out their plants.
Sure.
So it's been great for the garden club. It's a great fundraiser. We use these funds for our projects around the city and for scholarships,
Right.
the Dorothy Wallace scholarships.
Right. We have, last year we had 3 scholarship recipients.
so. Oh.
And that's a wonderful thing for horticulture students, for students studying horticulture.
Right.
But the beautification projects that we do, Jerry, that we've done so many fun things around Bella Vista.
Oh, we have.
Planting flowers and just trying to beautify our community.
Right.
And that's another thing that these funds help support.
Right.
At the Veterans Wall of Honor, we have a crew that goes there pretty regularly. And at the Blue Star Memorial, too, we spend some time.
At the Welcome Center, yeah.
Right, the Welcome Center. At the cemetery, the Memorial Garden, right, at the cemetery.
Right.
So there's
do
so
all
many
that.
things.
And the main thing is we want to make Bella Vista more beautiful. So bring
Absolutely.
the beauty back to Bella,
Right.
as our president says. So the other thing that people ask us all the time is, where do we buy plants? If we don't buy them from the garden club or the sales, where do we find plants? And we don't normally promote companies or nurseries, but we do share the information we have. And Westwood Gardens is a great source of plants, and along with Garden City in Bentonville, they're Westwood's in Rogers, and they have
Right.
two shops, two stores in one in Springdale and one in
Right.
Fayetteville.
I've been out to White River several times.
And
out in
White
Fayetteville.
River is wonderful. They have
Right.
native plants. It's
Yes.
hard to find native plants, but they do specialize.
Especially
in
if you
native.
have some specific things you're looking for,
Right.
like maybe for butterfly gardening or something
Right,
like that.
yeah, you might be interested in, right. And the potting shed on Highway 40, down from Walgreens in Bella Vista, they carry some different plants that you're not going to find at the box store. We like to, support our local nurseries, whatever we can. Bear Creek is another one in Eureka Springs that has wonderful wildflower seeds. They're hard to find, good wildflower seeds, and their wildflower mixes are wonderful.
I haven't been there. I need to get out there.
And unfortunately, this is April, but they have a discount for Garden Club members in March.
Oh,
But we missed that. So
we
next
might have
week,
another day or two.
put it on your calendar, and for next year, if you're a Garden Club member or Master Gardener, they give you a discount.
Nice.
And they carry bamboo, which is unusual too, but it's not the running kind.
Well,
so
that's
they
good,
do- yeah.
because you got to be careful with that bamboo.
Right. And then Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds is another place to get seeds. They carry 1,400 varieties of seeds, heirloom seeds. And then Missouri Wildflower Nursery in Jefferson City is
Right.
another great source.
I got to tell you, I learned something last night. I was on the Missouri Wildflower Nursery website.
Oh, it's great.
And that's like a 4-hour drive
Yeah,
to go up there.
Right.
But they travel around. If you look at the website, they had an event in Joplin yesterday.
Oh.
You could have just driven to Joplin to get some
Right.
plants, but I missed it. So
they have it in Kansas City, St. Louis.
Yep.
And they do have different.
They have one in Springfield coming up this weekend. That's the next closest one.
Yeah,
So.
but it's just great to go on their website and see their nursery catalog, because they are the only ones I know that rate the plants. They'll
Right.
rate them like 1, 2, 3, 4, and some native plants you may want in your front yard.
Right.
And some you may want back by the timber. It's not going to be a showy plant.
Sure.
But it's a
Depends
useful
on what
plant.
you're looking for.
Right.
Right.
But they're the only nursery I know that rates the plants, and you can tell by their catalog where to put this plant. Put it in your
Sure.
by your front door, or put it in the back.
Do you know something else they have, Jerry, on their website? If you want to just look for maybe butterfly plants, they have a little filter. You can click on that, and it just gives you all the
Everything
butterfly.
you need.
But it's not just butterflies; it's pollinator plants
Right.
or whatever kind of thing, shade plants, sun plants. It's very nice.
It's a great catalog, and
Very
it's a
nice
great
catalog,
nursery
yep.
too. So that's another great source. So I think we've just about talked about all the plant sales we're going to have, and now we're going to have to plant those plants.
Oh yeah.
So if you're like me, you may be buying a plant, and then you walk around your garden with it. Now, where am I going to put this? And then you walk around again and you figure out where you're going to put this plant, because everybody has to have every plant. Every gardener has to have every plant.
We
they see.
rearranged some plants in our planters over the fall and early spring, so now I have a lot of space for new plants.
Oh,
I'm very
yeah.
excited.
And when Mother Nature, changes your garden by taking down a tree or something like that, you have to, rearrange your plants and
Absolutely.
change your garden. So Mother Nature does a lot of changing of gardens sometimes. So, but in April, there's a lot of things to do in your garden. The first thing you have to do on April 1st is when I put out my hummingbird feeders.
Oh,
I
yeah.
put them on April 1st, and I've had hummingbirds come anywhere from the 1st to, I think the latest was the 9th of April. They
Right.
may be here earlier this year because of this warmer weather, so I don't know if that's going to affect the hummingbirds. But if you put your planters out, it's use a 4-to-1 ratio, 1 part sugar and 4 parts water. You don't want to make it any stronger.
Right.
It's hard on their system if you make it, you know, stronger
Do
than
you know
that.
what I do? I make a concentrate.
Yeah.
I do 4 cups of sugar, 4 cups of water. Put it in the refrigerator,
Yeah.
and then I put 1 cup of concentrate and 3 more cups of water
Right.
in, so I don't have to make it all
Every
the time.
time,
But
yeah.
I like doing that for them.
That's, yeah. And you don't need the food coloring. You don't
No,
need red food.
no.
It's just, they don't need that. They just need the sugar and the water.
Yep.
And they'll be coming. If you have a feeder, they'll be coming.
Right. And another thing in spring, Jerry, in April, I like to get out, get all the leaves out,
Oh,
get
that's
things
a
cleaned up
big
out of my
chore.
garden. I've been out for days and days now weeding, getting that hen bit and all that
Oh,
other
yeah.
winter weed out of the garden. So it's, you know, the daffodils are up.
Oh, they're beautiful
Everything
this
is
year.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
and that's the time when I'm out there really trying to see what I can do to make my garden look
Yeah.
nice.
You gotta get those beds cleaned up. And then this is the month you go full speed on planting your perennials, getting them in the ground, and the trees and shrubs. You know, filling out your beds and your landscape. So this is the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then annuals. They're selling annuals. They were selling annuals, I think, in February this year at the stores. And it's like, don't buy annuals in February and think you're going to plant them in March, because they're not going to make it. You're going to be replanting them again in May. When you plant these annuals so early, the ground is cold.
Right.
And they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's
if
hard.
They
It's hard to be
survive.
patient, though.
I know, when you see these wonderful plants.
All the color in the nurseries,
Yeah,
and you
they're
just want to bring it
wonderful.
home.
So if you started seeds, you can do your seeds, you know, inside. So.
And I think I just mentioned daffodil bulbs. A lot of our bulbs,
Right.
our tulips are coming up, and
Oh,
our
yeah.
daffodils are up.
Oh, they're wonderful.
I don't know if you guys been riding around Bella Vista, but those Bella Vista daffodils are up now. They're the ones with the large white cup on the outside and the orange center. If you go by City Hall or any of the fire stations,
Right.
they are just
Library,
unbelievable.
they're everywhere. We planted.
But what you remember in the spring with those is the foliage, the green leaves on those must remain. Once the last flower is gone, that foliage must remain for 6 to 8 weeks.
You can cut the flowers off. The
You
dead
could cut
flowers.
you could deadhead the flowers, right? But what happens is the bulb needs to recharge, and so when that foliage is allowed to remain for 6 or 8 weeks after the last flower fades, then that's what recharges that bulb for next year. After about 2 months, if you want to cut that greenery down or put something else in front of it, that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's what's important in the spring, is to remember that. Now, we plant the bulbs usually in the fall, but in the spring is when we enjoy
Right.
what we planted.
Yeah, if you don't let that greenery, die on its own, you're not going to have a flower
Right.
next year. That's where they get their flower.
Yep.
Okay, and house plants. I know you want to put your house plants out. I've been tempted to put them out, early, but you have to wait until the nighttime temperatures are about at least 50 degrees. They don't like to be out. They've been in your house all winter, and they're not going to like this 40-degree weather outside. So, just wait till it's about 50 degrees outside consistently before you put those out. So
Right.
you'll be happy and they'll be happy.
And our lawns are starting to wake up. I have the zoysia sod, and it's about half green and half brown now. I'm so thrilled to see it starting to wake up. But I think the general rule is, once it's greened up nicely, wait another week or two before you start with fertilizing, and if you weed and feed or something
Yeah.
like that, you should give it a little time first. And I'm lucky with my zoysia. It's kind of a low maintenance, watering once a week, maybe not even mowing once a week. Some of the lawns require a little more water than that.
Right.
Most
Well,
of them don't require.
About an inch a week is
Right.
what most of them
Right.
require.
And hopefully we get some nice spring rains,
Oh, I
so we
hope
won't have to
so.
worry about watering too
we
much.
were down, I think, 16 or 18 inches short last year
Wow.
for the year. And I think
That's a
the
lot.
first part of February, we were still down 2 inches for the year of 2017. So hopefully this drought will end and we'll get more rain, but we don't need 8 inches at a time. You know, it'd be nice to just have an inch or 2 once in a while. So.
Right.
And the vegetables, time to get your vegetables out. They're for sale. You have little starters at the box stores, and you can be planting your lettuce, your kale, your greens, your peas, your turnips, radishes, and beets, broccoli, cabbage. You can plant
Those
all
are
that.
cool season vegetables, right?
They can take a little cool
Right.
nighttime. So just hold off on your tomatoes. If you put your tomatoes in the ground, when the soil's cold, they will just sit there and do nothing. So there's no sense planting them and having them struggle. So
Patience
wait
again,
until
right?
the soil has warmed up, and you can, look for some growth on your vegetables. And I have planted my parsley and basil inside, so I've got them started, and then I can put them out in May. So.
Right.
It's not safe.
My
to put them out.
fennel is coming alive, and my chives are coming
yeah.
back, and some things like that I have. I have a few of those kind of
Right.
things. I'm not a big vegetable gardener.
No, I'm not either.
Okay.
No, but I do like the cherry tomatoes.
Oh,
they do well
yes.
for me. I don't have much luck with the big tomatoes, but I
Right.
have luck with cherries. And everybody has their own little niche. You know, your niche is really butterfly
It
gardening.
really is.
You love butterfly
I
gardening.
do.
And I love perennials. And then some of our members are really big on herbs and vegetables. Some love vegetables and plant a lot of vegetables. So everybody has their own little interest.
Right. Their own
And that's
little
what's so
niche.
great about Garden Club and Master Gardeners. There's so many people with so many different interests, and you can always find an expert on any little thing you
Absolutely.
look for.
And somebody who shares your passion,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it happens to be.
Right,
So
right.
that's fun.
So for more information on what to do in your garden each month, you can go to the Bella Vista Garden Club website, and it's bellavistagardenclub.com. It's not .org, it's .com.
.com.
And just click on gardening information. There's a lot of links to different websites, and there's a lot of information there. And also there's a University of Arkansas calendar link that tells you what to do in your garden every month. If you don't happen to have the show available, you can just go into that link, and it'll tell you month by month what to do in your garden.
Nice.
So it's got great gardening information.
Very nice.
And the next Bella Vista Garden Club meeting will be April 26th, which is the fourth Wednesday of the month, and that's going to be at the United Lutheran Church on Forest Hills and Cooper Road.
Right.
And we always invite guests to come. You don't have to be a member. We don't want to share
Absolutely.
everything.
We have a great topic this month. Aren't we learning
Yes.
about herbs?
Growing
with,
and cooking with culinary herbs.
Right, very nice.
And that's going to be presented by one of our newer members, Dagmar Roeder. And in fact, she's a neighbor of mine, just found out. And she's going to be doing the program. And the fact that you grow herbs, and then sometimes you don't know what to do with them.
Right.
You've grown them and they're just sitting there, you're not harvesting. So this way you can find out what to do with those herbs after
Absolutely.
you grow them.
Should be great.
And we have gotten so many new members the past couple of years. It seems like every meeting we get a new member or 2 or 3.
Right.
So it's a great organization, and we have a little luncheon and just great information about gardening.
Absolutely.
So
It should
it's
be
great.
fun.
So, well, thank you, Alycyn, for joining me today.
I'm glad I got to
always
be
have
here.
a good time, and I'm so excited about the plant sale again.
I
And
am.
you have just been working yourself to death.
We have such a large crew this year.
They
Everybody has
do.
just been so energetic, and we're having a good time getting
And we're
ready.
having so many of the new members that
We
are
are.
just jumping in
We are. It's
right
fabulous.
away and getting involved with all of the activities.
I'm trying to keep up with them.
I can't keep up with some of the newer ones anymore. I'm getting a little slow. But I hope you've enjoyed the show, and will join us again next month. And until then, don't forget to stop and smell the roses.